Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian Ant and welcome back to Elite Dangerous. The first phase of Squadron discussions has now begun over on the official forums. This new information discusses how Squadrons will function in Chapter 4, and that update is currently planned for release in the fourth quarter of this year. In short then, Squadrons are released versions of guilds and will allow players to group together and participate in joint activities. Additionally, Squadrons will be able to own their own assets, although currently very little is known about this. However, fleet carrier ships are one of the Squadron-owned assets that will be available. The information on Squadrons is going to be released in multiple stages. Today, Frontier are discussing the social aspects of Squadrons, such as how they will be formed and how they will be managed. For now though, there are no information on specific gameplay mechanics that will be associated with Squadrons, but this will be coming at a later date. For now then, let's have a look at how Squadrons will work. A squadron is a group of players who want to band together and organise into a large group, or to put it another way, a squadron is the equivalent of a guild. The purpose of banding together in this way will enable players to collectively engage in activities such as bounty hunting or community goals. However, currently Frontier haven't announced or revealed any new forms of gameplay that a squadron may engage in. A new menu will be available from within the game to allow any player to create a squadron. When a player brings up this menu, if they are not already in a squadron, then they will be presented with the choice of either searching for a squadron or creating one. When creating a squadron, players will enter the following details: squadron name, which must be unique, squadron ID, primary language, attitude, which is the general approach of the guild, whether it's relaxed or friendly or whatever. There'll also be tags. These are an important thing and will be used to highlight a squadron's focus, such as combat or PvP. Finally, a squadron will be able to choose its allegiance to Empire, Federation, Alliance or Independent. There will be a fee for creating a squadron, however Frontier have not set a specific amount just yet. When searching for a squadron, players will be able to search by activity type by using the tags feature. Once a player has found a squadron they're interested in, then they can make an application. Applications will contain basic information such as your commander name and your highest rank. It will also be possible to include custom text in the application. The squadron leader or officers will then be able to approve the application. However, both the player and the squadron member will need to be online at the same time. Currently, Frontier are thinking of setting the cap on squadrons at 250 members, and yes, it was instantly pointed out that this is far too low for most of the larger player groups out there, and I personally also think it is a bit on the low side to say the least. Although not specifically stated, it does appear that players will only be able to join a single squadron, and there will also be no way to create cross-platform squadrons. At the moment, 3 role types are planned: leader, officer and pilot. The leader is the person who created the squadron, although they will also have the ability to nominate another person as leader if they leave or want to step down. The leader can assign permissions to all other members. Officers can have leader-like privileges, and these will be set by the squadron leader. All other members of the squadrons will be known as pilots. Communication in squadrons will occur over in-game chat channels. 2 of these channels will be the squadron channel and officers channel. There's no details on whether or not it will be possible to create additional channels though, and there's no details on whether the chat in these channels will be persistent. The feed is another communications portal, and it will essentially serve as the main squadron page accessed through the squadron menu. This will be automatically updated with relevant information about the squadron, the fleet carrier, and their activities. It will also be possible to add a custom message to this page. Details on the fleet carriers are coming at a later date, and unfortunately Frontier are not talking about this right now. Reading between the lines though, it appears that carriers will be a large focus for the squadron. There's already a lot of player groups within the game, and some of these are truly massive with thousands of members. Further, many of these groups are also associated with in-game minor factions. Whilst Frontier are currently looking at ways for a squadron to directly be attached with a faction, this is currently by no means a surefire thing. Now personally, overall I feel there are a number of issues with the described setup for squadrons. The proposed cap of 250 is far too low. Many groups are already larger than this. Player groups, factions and squadrons may end up being completely different things. And of course the potential that players can only be in a single squadron. All of these points, and probably many other factors I haven't even thought of yet, risk splitting each player group. The members limit means that groups will need to split into smaller squadrons. The ability to only join a single squadron means that players will need to choose between activities and friends, forcing them into an either-or situation. Maybe, for example, they are both a member of the Fuel Rats and Hutton Truckers, and therefore want to be in both squadrons. Further, player groups have invested a lot of time into their minor faction. If it turns out that minor factions are separate from squadrons, this will also mean there is a general lack of cohesion for players and their goals as a faction. In short, all these points create division for any player group, forcing them to make decisions which are completely opposed to the spirit of what a player guild is meant to be. Potential separation of faction from squadron, combined with the fact that squadron sizes are so severely limited, along with the ability to potentially only be a member of a single squadron, are all precisely opposite of what is needed to bring players together in a meaningful way. Instancing is clearly going to be another issue. Frontier have confirmed that it's possible that Elite's matchmaking system will influence if squadron members can get into the same instance, but as with anything else, it will not be guaranteed. Further, instancing will impose limits on how many members of a squadron can reliably get into the same area. Now, the fleet carrier is something that I suspect many people are going to be very interested in. Currently, we know that they're going to be squadron-owned assets, and that it will be possible to have it jump to different systems, and on top of that, it will also be possible to upgrade the carrier. Beyond that though, we'll have to wait for further details. However, it does bring me on to the subject of gameplay that is specific to squadrons. I really don't think it's unfair to say that a huge number of players will be hoping for new forms of gameplay to come along with squadrons. For example, collective mining with different roles within the mining process assigned to different members, along with the relevant squadron tools for managing this. Now, Frontier have said that they will discuss the purpose of squadrons at a later date, so for me at least, that does imply there will be more to squadrons than simply being a social interface. My main concern here though, and this is pure speculation so do take it with a pinch of salt, but my main concern is that the focus of squadrons will be on upgrading the fleet carrier by using the same form of gameplay mechanics that are already well overused in the game. For example, delivering materials to the carrier in a community goal-like system, or searching for material to unlock upgrades. Although certainly this would be a very nice additional feature for squadrons, I really and genuinely do hope that it won't be the main focus. Overall, from what we have seen so far, I feel that Frontier are delivering something that has been needed since day one, which is a functioning guild system. However, from what we have seen so far, I personally feel that the proposed system has a number of issues that will need to be addressed before it makes it into the game. Namely, these points are that squadrons need to bring people together, not divide them by forcing them to choose gameplay styles or limiting them to group size. Second, squadrons will need a focus, something for them to collectively achieve, which hopefully will be something greater than merely upgrading a carrier ship, unless of course that carrier ship has a secondary or other purpose. Finally, this leaves a lot of open questions, namely, will squadrons be able to influence the wider game in any way? Will squadrons be able to form alliances or declare war upon each other? And if so, what role will the carrier play in all of this? Maybe we'll get some more information on all of this over the coming weeks. Chapter 4 is the largest update for Beyond by any means, and Squadrons is just one part of the planned changes. However, Squadrons are a significant change, and one that is much needed. So what are your thoughts and feelings on the proposed system for Squadrons? I'd love to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.